You're listening to Not the Sermon with Eric and Jamie.
Comedy.
Oh, was that the comedy part of theology and comedy?
Theology.
Okay, so that's the theology
both of them
part of it. Hey, listener, welcome to yet another Not the Sermon podcast episode.
It's not the sermon.
It's not the sermon.
Don't forget it. If you turned in because you were looking for a little momentary encouragement from the Word of God,
this ain't
you
it.
better go somewhere else.
Here's
Maybe
your
you walk
sign.
down the wrong alley.
This is not.
We got our switchblades out. We're snapping our fingers. We're coming at
West
you.
Side Story?
About to rob your purse. About to take it from you.
While singing and dancing.
Yep.
So hey, if this is your first time, we're so glad you're tuning in. We're sorry. We're so sorry.
Yeah, this wasn't a
but
good
you're
episode.
about to get hooked, my friend. You are about to get addicted to the podcast known as Not the Sermon because this is just a senior pastor. Hi, I'm Jamie.
Yeah.
With an associate pastor.
Little boy sidekick, Eric. Little boy preacher here.
As well as our faithful lead tech, Phoenix. Who is, we were talking earlier, really doesn't do anything technical anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
I just sit here and laugh. That's all I'm good for.
And so yeah, this is Not the Sermon. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here.
I have a question, Jamie.
Yeah.
Who is this white lump sitting next to us?
So a couple of episodes ago, you guys, we love to roast one another. We love to roast our listeners. Our listeners love to roast us. But we had someone write in and just completely destroy us and just basically say that he was disappointed in how we did the podcast, especially when we had a guest on. And he just really gave us, and to me, Eric, you can tell me he kind of acted like he thought he could do a better job.
Yeah, he's got that way.
Yeah, and so I said, okay, Ethan, my oldest son,
Yep.
then why don't you come on and show us how it's done? So welcome, Ethan.
I feel like a Make-A-Wish kid.
hey, you kind of look like one.
Nice.
So
This is so funny being on this side in this room, seeing y'all talk.
Yeah.
you get to see the.
I'm trying not to crack up over here. It's so funny.
This is how the sausage is made.
Yeah, this is the dark, damp room where all the goodness comes out.
So Ethan, so you're my son. I have 3 kids. Everyone, they're all adults now, and Ethan's the oldest. And are you a regular listener to Not the Sermon?
Yeah, I am. There's a period there. I slacked off, but I got back on the train,
Okay.
and I listened to like 12 episodes in like 4 days.
Wow. Wow.
You got inundated.
I'm gonna be on y'all are gonna be on my Spotify Wrapped this year for sure.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Well,
So
at least we'll be on one.
So, and just so the listeners know, the only way to get on the podcast is through nepotism, I guess. At this
That's
point.
true. That's true. Absolutely. That's true. So any of my other kids, I don't think the other ones listen.
I was gonna say, Ethan, you were probably like a part of our original audience idea because like when we first started doing this, we were like friends and family, maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. Isaac sends me y'all's artwork every once in a while.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
particularly bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And makes fun of y'all.
That's
to me.
Eric. We're
Yeah.
gonna blame Eric on that.
Blame me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not an artiste.
He's just all AI.
Yeah, pretty much. And in the beginning, it was all hard mode. It was like, let me use like some Adobe knockoffs to try to make stuff. And then once AI started getting good, I was like, this is it, baby. This is life moving forward. So.
Yeah, which we'll have to do an AI segment again. We've done one before, but y'all, Eric is just losing his mind over AI right now. It's all he talks about.
Singularity, they're coming for us.
This guy went to a pastor's conference recently, and everyone's like learning about discipleship. He literally gets on the AI track.
Yeah, I'm just doing AI, dude.
I'm like, so what'd you learn, man? What'd the Lord show you? He's like, dude, here's what AI's doing right now.
Yeah, no,
I'm glad you went. I'm glad we did this.
It was pretty rad. Trust me, y'all are gonna thank me in like 2 years when I'm actually able to do something
when the
with
machines
it.
take over.
When the machines take over.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
I do too. Talk well of them.
He's
now.
saying that just so they won't put him in jail later.
I use AI like constantly at my job.
Yeah, you're an engineer.
Yeah, tell us what you do a little bit. It's the short version
Just
because
don't
it's not
use your
that
company
interesting.
name.
I'm an engineer. I've been 3 different types of engineers now.
You were
over 3 years.
You were a toilet paper engineer at one point.
That's what I still am.
Oh,
that's what I still am.
you can thank Ethan every time you have a good wipe.
Yeah. No, I deal with the automation robotics at toilet paper mill.
Yeah.
So I'm not involved in the paper making process. Thank God.
Yeah.
So you work with robots.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is that? That's really cool.
It's not what I started out as. It was.
So is that turned you into a Calvinist?
Thankfully,
aren't they robots?
No.
Do you make them love you?
No, but you know what? It has made me think that, like, okay, I can see why people think that, talking about the singularity, why people think that robots are going to take over. Because, like, it's hilarious. They're all coded the same, but, like, I swear they have different personalities.
Like, this is Margaret over there.
Do you
She's
name
going through some stuff.
No. Just numbers.
Okay.
But,
you should name them. You should name them.
I'm going to start working on that. We have a bunch of them.
This one over here's got a
name.
This one over here's got an extra circuit.
So here's the deal. This is not an interview episode, okay? We're just going to do our normal not in the sermon stuff. Ethan's just going to be here with the regular 3 guys, and then we'll just see if he helps us out, if he makes the program better, or if he brings us down based on his previous roasting of us.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm feeling the energy in the room right now.
Yeah.
Feeling it in my toes.
In your toes. All right, good. Well, speaking of feeling things in our toes, we had a listener. You guys know we always, we love when listeners roast us. Maybe they disagree with our theology, or maybe they just want to make fun of us. But we have a caveat. We want you to roast us, but it's got to be artistic. It's got to be a song, a poem. We've had people do a rap. We've had people write a psalm before. It was pretty good. And so we have a song.
Yeah.
Someone has generated an AI song.
Shout out to Dave for sending us another incredible song.
And so now here's the thing. This is a warning. We debated whether or not we could even do this one on the podcast, and here's why. It contains some King James language. Yeah. You guys know that Balaam's donkey is one of the is one of the characters in the Old Testament that speaks, and people often say, "Hey, if they can use Balaam's donkey," well, there you go,
Jamie.
Because the original King James does not use the word donkey, and so
uses the word.
So this listener has written this song. And it uses the key. So if you're a parent with young children listening, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, this might be something you want to skip, because we're going to play the song. Now, Eric has not heard the song all the way through. He's heard like a little clip. But I've tasked him with censoring.
I get to hit the button.
You get to hit the censor button.
Jonesing for a good button.
So if you would go ahead and turn the volume up for Bluetooth real quick. Yeah, get it up. There you go. And let's play the song, man.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
If God used Balaam's ass, he
There you go.
can
Good job.
use these 2. For everyone's got a purpose, even these fools do. God don't make mistakes, not everyone was born to be great. If God used Balaam's ass, he can use
you're doing good.
these 2. Jamie and Eric started up a podcast.
Yeah, we did.
After 2 seasons, we still haven't laughed.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Do they think this is funny? Lord help these 2 dummies.
That's good.
If God used Balaam's ass, he
There we go.
can use these 2. It's so bad it could have changed Cousin John's fate.
Cousin John the
If
Baptist.
Herodias heard he'd been their head on that plate.
Oh, nice.
That's
Right?
good.
God uses the foolish things to help bring the wise to shame. If God used Balaam's ass, he can use these 2. If God used Balaam's ass, he can use these 2. For everyone's got a purpose, even these fools do. God don't make mistakes, not everyone was born to be great. If God used Balaam's ass, he can use
Eric's
these
dancing.
Having fun now.
Yeah. Oh, solo. Yeah, baby.
All right. Man,
Here we go.
someone get me a Coors.
Don't you mean a natty light?
Yeah.
We might think they're hopeless, but here's the thing. God can still use them, though their show really stinks.
Okay.
Remember, he worked through a donkey, so there's still hope for these honkies. If God used Balaam's ass, he can use these too. If God used Balaam's ass, he can use these too.
It isn't here a lot.
Everyone's
Yeah.
got a purpose, even these fools do. God don't make mistakes. Not everyone was born to be great. If God used Balaam's ass, he can use these too.
It just ends. There's no ending lyrics. It's just the music. So AI.
So I don't
Man.
understand what he was just talking about his bass.
Yeah, maybe
Why?
so.
Dude,
Why is
that was
bad?
so good.
It was good.
That was so good.
It was
dude.
good. It
The
was good.
honkies thing is what got me.
That
Definitely a
that was
honky.
out of nowhere. And I love the John the Baptist, cousin John.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some theology in there.
Yeah,
had
that's
some
pretty good.
good theology.
Herodias.
Yeah.
It'd be our heads on the plate if they'd heard
We're
it.
gonna have to figure out more about this Dave Futch character.
Yes. He keeps sending us these songs. Last one was like a metal hard rock.
Yeah,
and
was
this one's
it
country.
like
Oh,
our
it's the
alternative?
same-
Yeah, the
same-
intro.
same
yeah,
guy.
yeah. It's good stuff.
Wow, good
Yeah,
stuff.
he evidently he keeps buying AI credits, So, which it works out for us.
Well, that was a fun song.
If God used Balaam's,
I had the button queued up. No, that was good. I feel like I got a little dirt on my tires. You know, it sounded like Brad Paisley.
really?
It sounded like a Brad Paisley voice.
I don't know
With the-
enough.
Especially with the electric.
Yeah. So, guys, we're moving into a next segment that is traditionally called Pester the Pastor. And it's a segment where me and Jamie will pester each other, you know, just asking general questions about faith, culture, whatever. But I figured since old Ethan is here.
Oh, hey, Ethan. How you doing, dude?
yeah, AKA White Lump. Let's go. That's his podcast name. That we would do.
Have
We change
those
it up.
removed.
Yeah. We do it up and we would do a little Pester the Pastor's Kid.
Ah, Pester the pastor's kid.
So y'all ready?
Let's do it.
That was a good one. So Pester and the Pastor Kid. So Ethan, you are the son of Jamie, who's
Yep.
been a pastor your whole life, right? Your whole life?
I was 13.
13 when you became a
When I
lead
became
pastor.
lead pastor, yeah, I was a youth pastor and a worship pastor.
But
Yeah.
regardless, before that, I was
Still, like,
worshiping
heavily
youth.
involved.
it's not the
church.
same, though. It's not the same.
And
Not the same at
I
all.
want to ask you this question because this is just like anecdotal, really, but it seems like there's like this whole joke about like the pastor's kid. And generally, the trope is like the pastor's kid is like the craziest person in the church, like most like, you know, out there, shot out, you know, like
Rebellious.
you know, partying. But Ethan, you're pretty well rounded.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
Was that a
White
fat
lump.
joke?
No, you're pretty well rounded, and so you were in my youth group, right?
Yeah,
for
yeah,
at
yeah.
least the last half of your career there.
through high- all throughout
and,
high
and
school.
you were really well rounded in high school too. So for you guys that don't know this, so there's only like a 6-year age. How old are you?
I'll turn 25 tomorrow.
25 tomorrow. So 6 years. There are 6 years between us. So when I was like,
That's funny. I had never thought about that.
yeah. So when I was a child in youth ministry, you were just a younger child.
Yeah.
And it was funny that, you know, our relationship was more like, I would say more friendship than like pastor kid. I mean, there's obviously that aspect to it.
Towards the end,
So you
yeah.
weren't my friend? Wow, it's just
Well, I
embarrassing in front of
was-
everyone.
Wow, that's a pretty big blow.
Guys,
Conflict of
let's
interest. Find out.
Let's just end this.
Live on the podcast,
Yeah.
you just found out he was not your friend.
You were never. Hey, you know what? You were never really there.
You were just a pastor to me, nothing more.
It's just a pastor.
No.
Welcome to my world.
I'd like to think that we had a little something more. But like our relationship was funny. But I say all that to say, like, I know you really well, and,
Right,
and it
yeah.
doesn't mean like your life's been perfect. I mean, you did have like that whole stint with like drugs and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm
Just a little bit of
Just
needles.
kidding. Just kidding. But no, you were generally. So how, like, is there anything that you can attribute that to? Because you know what I'm talking about, right? Like pastor kids, they go crazy.
Oh yeah. So first of all, it's totally true. All pastors' kids are crazy.
I mean, look at your other siblings.
I growing up, I was decently connected with Growing up, I was decently connected and knew a lot of the other PKs in the city, which were not from a big town or anything. So it's hard. You kind of know everybody, anyways.
Yeah.
And they were all crazy.
I'm thinking of the pastor's kids that I know right now, and I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
It's worth noting, like it was my freshman year of college. Was my I went a little bit wild.
That was your rebellious year.
That was my rebellious
year. I call those your bumble years.
Yeah, sure. But so no, honestly, I attribute it to my parents.
Yeah.
I think a lot of pastors almost go too hard into ministry and giving everything they possibly have to their ministry and their church, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? But a lot of times it comes at the expense of their own family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you'll see that in a lot of some of the scandals that go on with pastors happens from not being connected to your family. And I'd argue that a good way to be a good pastor is to not just talk, but be a good family man as well. And Dad did that very well. Yeah. So there was never a point in time, even he worked actually from home even before he became a pastor. So like I was super lucky to have a multitude of time with him growing up and
playing Xbox.
Yeah, for real. If anything, I was the deadbeat son, man. Playing Halo.
No, we had fun together. We did.
Yeah, but like we grew up. Dad played video games with me. Anyways, he was just very, very, very present. My parents were really good at talking about everything.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing is there was never a time in my life I felt like I couldn't tell them something. Even when it came to like big struggles. Like even when it came to college and I kind of fell off the wagon, like they were like, I went to them and they were there and they're like, yeah, you're dumb.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it now? Like that's fine. Yeah. We love you, and that relationship was the difference, honestly.
Hey, do you remember that time you accidentally killed that guy, and then we hired a lawyer for you and got you set free? From that?
Yeah. I actually handed you the shovel for a little bit.
Yeah, that was cool.
He'll let you dig.
That's good memories.
That's called white privilege.
This new building's sitting on the mound, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why you pushed the building project.
Yeah, that's why I got got it built so quickly. Is I just need to cover the bodies.
So you brought up something really good that I think it goes beyond just being a pastor's kids. It was availability. Like you felt your parents were available to you and that you could, because I've got a 5-year-old now, and that's kind of one of the things that I'm working through with Sierra. My wife came up in a more like conservative household where they didn't really talk a lot about stuff. I came up from like the other extreme where you just talked about even things you shouldn't. And so what we're trying to model is like, being the resource. So it felt like, whatever you were doing, even if you were wrong, you felt safe coming to your dad, who's a pastor, which adds that added weight in some circumstances where you're like, where the person's trying to protect their ministry and then they've got this rascal of a child, messing up their image
and
or whatever.
I felt that pressure. There was a pressure when I became a senior pastor, a lead pastor, of like, you better have your kids in line.
Yeah,
like,
you made Ethan stop smoking after that.
As a 13-year-old, you had to lay down the cigs, man.
Yeah. We let him keep dropping acid, but the smokes had to go. There really was this pressure I would feel of like, if your kids aren't perfect, like if they aren't dressed exactly the way that you would expect, if they don't know the Bible verse off the top of their head, man, like people expect, like, and I fought it. I just had to kick it in the teeth and say, that is an external pressure. It's not coming from the Lord, and it's not anything that's going to help me or is going to help my kids love the Lord more.
And just him saying that too, like it should be known that like I didn't know that he felt any of that pressure, which I think is very important. I think that pressure translates into being almost harder on your kids, or in an effort to make it, to make, because everyone wants to have open communication with their kid and make them feel like they can talk about anything. But the way they go about that sometimes is by forcing them to talk about those things. And that's not the right. Dad never made me confess anything that I wasn't ready to talk about.
All right, son, sit down. It's confession night.
but no, bring out a legal pad and pen.
I grew up with other kids in the church whose parents were way harder on them and more strict and more, and not that they didn't have boundaries, right? They had expectations for me, but like their parents were way like stricter and harder and made them talk about things they didn't want to talk about with them. And those are the kids that acted out.
Yeah. I remember we had a rule at our house, like, and this was the rule. we don't care what you look like as long as your heart looks great.
Yeah.
And so
That's something you would say to an ugly child for sure.
Why do you think you said it to me?
we said it to all of our kids, and none of them are ugly. But that was the idea of like whether it came to how you dressed, how you did your hair, earrings, tattoos, things like that. We were like, look, if your heart is good, if we see you pursuing the Lord, then we don't care what you look like. Like that's all going to. Now, the moment that you're not pursuing the Lord, we go into lockdown, and now we're in charge, and we're going to tell you about that stuff. But we wanted to kind of create kind of a self where they self-modified their behavior because they wanted to, because they knew the Lord, not because their dad was a pastor.
So good.
So here's a question to kind of like kick that back to you, Jamie. This is in 1 Timothy chapter 3. This is qualifications for an overseer. And so it says he must manage his own family well and see that his children obey him, and he must do so in a manner worthy of full respect. If anyone does not know how to manage his own family, how can he take care of God's church? So that's kind of like the scripture passage for pastors in that regard. But here's the thing, man. Like I've had like deep sympathy for pastors that I know whose kids did go off the rails at no fault of the parent. And then watch the pastor and his spouse get severe criticism over something that their adult child is doing. So like, could you speak into that? Like, where's the line in making sure you manage your family well, but also like kids be doing kid stuff too?
And being a Christian parent and even doing things mostly right does not guarantee a kid's not going to go off the rails for a little bit. We never saw, thankfully none of our kids have had a super rebellious, super bad, season in their life. I mean, Ethan talked about his freshman year in college, but I think that's everyone's freshman year in college.
I think I got caught vaping in high school, but I think that's about the worst. That's about the worst it got.
Straight to hell.
It's important. First of all, we saw our family as and this is like a cliche, but we really did see our children as our first congregation. I taught them the word, like outside of church. And then the other thing is my wife, I cannot, like, seems to be like, hey, Jamie did a good job. I need y'all to understand my wife is the hero in this story. Because she did such an incredible job of like completely giving herself to the kids. So when I did need to go away, when I did have to do the funeral, when I did have to come home early from vacation, which happened a time or two, she smoothed everything over, made sure everything was taken care of, and even stuff like 2 services. We didn't make our kids be at both services. I know pastors who did, right? So if there is a pastor, listening, and your kids are in the rebellious phase, man, I just encourage you: don't give up, don't trade in. Look, you are the only father or mother that child will ever have. They're going to have pastors, they're going to have teachers, they're going to have mentors. Don't trade in the dad card, the mom card, the parent card for the pastor card. Always be parent first. Always be dad first, and then trust the Lord will send them pastors besides you to speak into their lives.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think that's a lesson for people, especially if you're not in ministry. Like how many dads, especially men, dads who are out there who have given themselves to their work, whether it's like some sort of trade or office job, and you just leave your kids at home. And you don't spend time. You don't actually disciple your kids. Like that's your primary role as a parent, is to raise your kids well. It was Jordan Peterson says one of the main goals as a parent is to raise a child that you can stand to be around. Like raise a child that you like to be with.
My wife used to always say our goal with our kids is to raise adults that we would be friends with. And now they're all adults, and we're friends with them. We were not friends with them when they were in middle school and high school.
So to end this,
right? We weren't. We were parents.
To end this segment, which one of your children is your favorite?
Oh, it's the one that you...
Okay, thank you. That was great, Jamie.
All right, everybody. Are you ready for the ultimate pastor game show? Woo! You've been asking for it, and now it's time. Welcome to Life's a Preach.
Wow, you timed that perfectly.
Yeah. I tried.
So tell us about Life's a Preach, Jamie.
So Life's a Preach is where Eric and I have grabbed 3 random items.
Yes.
Mine was from my office. Where was yours from?
My office.
Okay. and so we present them
from the
to
women's
the other.
restroom. That's where I got my.
And they have like 30 seconds.
Give them like 10 seconds to like identify the item and then preach
And then boom, we got to preach a sermon.
Yeah.
We got to preach a sermon. And so that's the okay. All right. What are you doing, Phoenix?
He's doing something technical.
That's not the right fader. He was turning down the wrong fader.
Oh, fine.
So anyway, so we'll come up with a sermon. We'll try to work these into some sort of sermon.
Yeah.
And we'll go for it. Go for it.
All right. Show me your bag of goodies, Jamie.
Okay, here we go. Are you gonna start the music when it's time to preach?
Sure.
All right. So here we go. I have, if I can get it, I have a coat hanger.
Ooh, coat hanger.
I have an elephant mask that you.
God, dude.
What is that?
Yeah.
It's got elephant ears and a nose.
Guys, it is one of those
That's
like.
part of a furry costume.
It's a headband that has elephant ears and an elephant nose on it.
Okay. So that's that.
Golly.
And last but not least, I have a cross with Jesus peeking around the corner saying, I saw that.
Okay.
saw that.
Okay.
Oh, this
I
is the
got
hardest one yet.
you. Yeah. Oh, no. I got this.
You got it? You got it? Okay.
Let's do this.
Here we go.
Have you been living an alternative lifestyle? Have you been wearing a mask? Are you a man, but you're wearing a purse? Well, let me tell you, you're not hiding from anyone because let me tell you, Jesus says, I saw that. And he is, oh man, he's giving you a fresh word this morning. He's telling you to take off that mask. That's not the real you. And he's bringing you a hanger.
Yes,
and it's on that hanger,
Yes,
you got a robe and you're going to put on that robe of righteousness. You're
Yes,
going to hang
Lord.
up that
Whoa.
creepy elephant anime thing that you've been wearing that your parents are ashamed of you about. Your dad doesn't even tell anybody that he has you because he's just so embarrassed of you. Like you just play video games and drink Mountain Dew all day and wear furry costumes. But let me tell you, Jesus has a new plan for your life. He sees you.
Wow. Was that a
Hallelujah.
sermon or an intervention?
A little bit of both, Jamie, because if you're wearing that anywhere, it's intervention time.
I just don't know why it was in my office.
That's a
we're
great
concerned.
question. All right, here we go.
All right.
So that was mine.
Taking your stuff off the table
People out there
here.
living alternative lifestyles.
We love you, but repent.
We love you, and look, this is any kind of
Love doesn't lie.
any kind of alternative lifestyle, right?
Yeah, like alternative Christian rock.
like if you're a furry, you need to take that somewhere. You need to put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Mhm.
Okay.
Use nair.
Get out of that
Here we
litter
go.
box.
Some nair, okay?
All right. So I got 3 items.
Okay.
All right. The first one is an
Okay.
hourglass.
Hourglass, okay.
Hourglass. It's a nice, cool little hourglass. I've got a.
It's actually a 30-minute glass.
Oh, where's my third item?
I fell between. You're right there.
I have a guitar pick.
Okay.
So hourglass,
A guitar pick.
and a genuine, authentic prison shank.
What?
That's true. So Jamie did a sermon series where, for some reason, he needed a real prison
I
shank.
did. No, it's true.
And I asked
We know
him
some
if I
people.
could have it when he was done. And so it's a toothbrush with a little razor blade melted onto it with
Yes.
dental floss, and it's in a
Yes.
little biohazard container because it was confiscated from a local prison. So yeah, you got hourglass,
impressive.
guitar pick, and prison shank.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready.
You ready?
Let's do this.
Yo, DJ, spin that.
All right, you guys. I got my announcer voice. So I got to get my preacher voice on. Friends. Listen, we're running out of time.
Friends.
We're running out of time. This life is not forever, friends.
Oh.
Friends, listen. You're sitting there spending time playing guitar.
Friends.
You're sitting there. You're doing all the stuff that you know you shouldn't do.
Repent!
You gotta repent. You're running out of time. Here's what's gonna happen, my friends. You're gonna go down to hell.
This is so dark.
This is gonna be a prison shank.
Whoa!
You're gonna get shivved by the devil
Oh.
if you don't repent.
Friend!
So, friend, you're running out of time.
Friend!
Stop playing that guitar and run from hell.
I need to run out of this room.
feel like I just got sold a car. First of all,
that was a George Whitefield sermon, dude.
Oh my gosh.
That got so dark so quick.
Dude, you gave me a shank.
Quit
What am I
playing guitar before you go to hell, friend.
Sinners in the hands of an angry God type beat.
Man, listener, if you aren't feeling the Lord down deep in your heart of hearts right now, and also if you're playing a guitar,
Put it down.
put it down now. Just put it away. But yeah, if you're not saved even more from that, I don't know.
Well, that was
absolute chaos. There was so much going on. I think a pack of dogs came in here when it was happening.
oh man. Wow.
beautiful.
Incredible. Ethan, are you enjoying yourself?
I'm having a great time over here.
Do you feel like you've
I'm all
added
hopped up on caffeine. They gave me free coffee.
do you feel like you've added to this podcast so far?
Potentially.
There's some energy. He brought some energy.
You brought some energy. Yeah.
Coffee's not free, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay us.
Bill it to my dad. It's fine. He owns the church.
So,
Owns the church.
Owns the
I remember,
church.
My
dude,
daddy.
Spoken like a true PK.
Your brother, his
Do you know who my dad is?
His younger brother Isaac once just asked me, he goes, Dad, you own the church now? I was like, no.
I was embarrassingly old when I realized that like there was like a board of people that
Yeah.
he didn't just run the show.
It's so my Aubrey. Of course, she's only 5. She has no concept of what I do.
Yeah.
I ask her all the time, like, what do you think that I do? And she says,
Who do you say that
you
I
do
am?
the microphones. And I'm like,
Oh, that's Phoenix.
I tell her I'm a teacher. Like I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
I teach the Bible. But anyways,
You work for Senior Global.
I work for
Church
a
daddy.
senior global church daddy who's only 3
Incorporated.
like red marks away from losing his job. Honestly, I'm just hanging in there, baby.
That last sermon, I'm pretty sure I lost it. So
Yeah.
it's been fun, guys.
So, but anyways, listeners, we're moving into our final segment of the podcast called Shady Theology. And Shady Theology is a segment where we take hold of some odd teachings. Some popular theology that is present in the Bible, present in the culture, but it's just a little bit off. Like there's something off about it. We talk about it.
Yeah.
We go ahead and we pick out the meat, spit out the bones for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's Shady Theology. So are y'all ready? We actually have 4 people here.
Yeah, it's a quartet.
God.
We
Gosh,
actually
it's an
have a
actual
true quartet.
True quartet.
So the note again.
Me, 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 me.
Shady Theology.
Nice.
That was good.
Hopefully you have a sub in your car, listener, so you could hear Phoenix's
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
sounded like a toad,
I was the weakest link on that one.
What?
a barge.
Oh, towboat.
I thought for some reason like a boat made of toes. It was weird.
That too.
I heard toad.
So
That too.
Ethan, you brought this up to us. I want to pitch it to you and see if you wanted to kind of like
Set it up.
Yeah, set
Preface.
it up for it. Preface it.
Yeah, so I'm doing that thing, where that everyone does and then stops doing during
Drugs?
January.
Oh.
No, where you do like the Bible in a year.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I've just decided, first of all, that I'm gonna stick with it, and it's just gonna take me 2 years. But like it's very well planned out and stuff. Anyways, so that being said, I'm still in Genesis, and it's March.
Oh, you're doing great, buddy.
Wow, you stink.
To be fair, it's non-linear, so it's it's Genesis, it's Proverbs, Psalms, and Matthew. So like they do it like
All together.
Yeah.
Okay.
all together, and you move through.
Yeah,
like,
that makes so much sense. I'm glad they do it that way.
well, it helps you not just have to like do half the year in the Old Testament and like hate life at the end of
So-and-so.
it.
You do like
So
3/4 of the year in the
Yeah.
Old Testament.
Anyways, so it's been a while since I've read through Genesis, like truly, right? Besides just reading certain passages in a sermon or something. And y'all, they be marrying cousins in that book.
They do
Yeah.
be doing that.
So,
Yes.
and it kind of caught me by surprise. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't think I was fully aware of how common it is, but like the Bible goes out of its way to point out that Jacob is marrying his cousin.
Yeah.
It's like he was,
Yeah.
and it explains the family tree, which is his cousin. It's like it's Rebecca, which is
So he married 2 of his cousins then.
Yeah, and
Sister wives.
and that's another part is polygamy, and he's talking about like concubines, and so I'm like, okay, so my question for you two, shady theologers, is what's up with all of the interfamilial marrying going on?
Incest, you mean?
In the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Well, I had someone tell it to me like this, Ethan. In a room full of apples, sometimes you got to grab the closest one.
Is that how it worked for you?
No, not at all. Go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. Like, so there is a denomination who's not necessarily Christian that some sects of it practice it. So Mormonism, early on especially, practiced
polygamy.
Oh, not polygamy. I'm mixing up, not incest. Jeez.
Man, geez, you're making
Look, do not come after me. Do not come after me, Mormon Church.
You can come after me.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll fight you.
It's all the same.
Well, okay, so it's a great question, and this is exactly the kind of questions people ask when they read the Old Testament, because there's so much that's done, or you could say allowed, in the Old Testament narrative that it's forbidden, right, for us to do in the New Testament or culturally.
But where does it say that?
What do you mean?
Where does it forbid it?
Well, I'm just saying culturally.
Prove it.
Culturally. Look, are you trying to justify your own?
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
Okay, well, you're doing a great job, Satan. So first of all, there's and we've mentioned this before, there's the idea of Scripture being descriptive versus prescriptive. Okay, prescriptive is where Scripture is telling you what to do. Descriptive is telling you what happened. Like, this is what happened. And so the Bible, for instance, you said Jacob marrying Leah and Rachel.
Oh, it's not Rebecca. Who was Rebecca?
Oh, was it?
No, it was Leah and Rachel.
Yeah, Leah and Rachel.
Leah and Rachel.
So, like, that is descriptive. That is not an instruction, of course, for us to go marry 2 women or to marry cousins, right?
Right.
I know, it's just disappointing. It's what happened at the time, but it's descriptive of what happened, but it's not prescriptive of here's how we should live. Okay?
Yeah.
Because later on in Scripture, when they're talking about qualifications for leadership, the husband of one wife, which literally means in Greek a one woman man, and by that time the idea of marrying a cousin, although distant cousins weren't frowned upon until really recently.
Still kind of not.
Yeah, but like first cousins and stuff were.
Depends on the state.
So let me just, I'm not.
Or the country.
I'm not justifying this, right? I will say there are a couple things that explain it. Okay, one of the issues early on in humanity is the idea, and you made a joke earlier, Eric, but there weren't a lot of choices out
Ain't
there.
no woman.
Not a lot of apples out there.
Yeah, and so it was really the limited population kind of created a situation where you couldn't always choose who you married. And so especially there weren't huge populated areas. I mean, massive cities back then would have been like multiple thousands in population, and that would have been considered a massive city, right? And so you just didn't have that many options. That's one thing going on. Another thing going on, and this is more of a scientific thing, is that the genetic code in humanity has become more complex and more prone to defects over time. And so one of the reasons why it's illegal to marry close relatives is because of the deformities and things like that that'll come from the children that are created from that union.
Is that why you look like that?
Yes. It's the recessive genes hit me all over my face,
dude. Yeah.
So what I've understood is that earlier in the story of humanity, the genetic story of humanity, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. Now, it's still icky for us, right? But scientifically, it wouldn't have been a big deal. It wouldn't have caused a lot of the genetic deformities and issues and stuff like that. And then also, culturally, and you mentioned this, I don't know when it was, Eric, it was a while back, but it was the idea of accommodation. Mm-hmm. The Lord meets us where we are, and then he brings us out of that into where we should be. And I think with the idea of, marrying relatives, God allowed it for a time, just like polygamy, allowed it for a time, and then over time, he instructed humanity and said, hey, there's a better way. This is the better way, and this is actually what I want you to do.
That's what I was about to bring up.
Yeah.
As I wouldn't be surprised at all, and this is extra biblical, but like if there was a grace period for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because my other question is, you know how like
Wait, you don't get 2?
no, it's about the same topic.
Okay.
Give me that
Okay.
coffee
Okay.
back.
You know, like because you brought up earlier, like there's like mutations and stuff that happen.
Yes.
So like, does that mean at one point in time before all the interfamilial marrying, we were like super geniuses? Maybe we are mutilated, not mutilated, mutated.
How'd they build the pyramids? I don't know.
Nephilim.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's probably a tendency to overcomplicate this. Like, there's obviously like if we know what we know about genetics and that there was some inbreeding within like the human population, we could make the assumption that maybe we lost something or potentially even gained something. Like, it's genetics. You don't just get deformations, you also get things that give you an advantage. Adaptations.
Yeah. Dominant genes, recessive genes.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And then some of those genes aren't even possible without repetitious inbreeding, like eye color and stuff like that. So,
Yes. The creating of races as we know it, like features and stuff that are considered specific and indigenous to one race in particular, is due to intermarrying by a population and a dominant gene taking over.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I think today it's a problem. Like,
sure.
if you
100%.
you want to marry your cousin or something like that, and I've actually like known people who've married like a second cousin or something like that, and
it's created a whole generation of Taylor Swift fans.
Yes. Oh, dang. Got
brutal.
him. Man, someone called the police. But I don't see the issue. I don't think there's a huge issue with that because it wasn't just the Jewish people, like Israel, ancient Israel, that was doing it. Everybody was doing it. Look at global population growth trends.
Yeah.
There just weren't a lot of people, dog.
Yeah.
And you had to do what you had to do. You had to do what God created your genetics to do, which is to make babies.
Right.
And so obviously,
if you had someone besides your direct family members, it was like, all right, good.
it's all
We're
in.
good.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, that's the dream. That's why they left home. Like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think it was necessarily wrong in a moral sense. I think you're working with what you got. Like, and that's what you had. And that's what everybody, I've seen atheists and just people that are militant against Christianity point to that.
Yeah, weaponize this.
Weaponize this like,
do you know what your Bible says?
Where do you think your ancestors come from, you uncle cousin? Like, I mean, you came from the same thing.
Right.
Like, it happened everywhere.
Right. Well, and again, they think that because it's reported in the Bible, it's condoned in the Bible.
But we're the only ones honest about it.
Right. Exactly. And it's not. It's just being reported. This is what happens.
But I think
those
that's
were different times.
And I think that's a byproduct of how tuned we are to read the New Testament.
Yeah.
Because the New Testament mostly is prescriptive.
Yes.
Or at least the majority of it.
Yes.
And so when we read the Old Testament, which is much more historical.
Yeah, especially the Pauline letters.
Right.
Yes. I mean, you've got the Gospels and Acts, which is more of a narrative, a story. This is what happened. But you're right. The Pauline letters, the apostles' epistles, that's funny. They're more like prescriptive. But you're right. So much of the Old Testament is historical, is historical narrative, is just telling what was going on. It's not necessarily providing an opinion on it.
Right. Or and even we're told to be like Jesus. So when you read even like the accounts like Luke, and you're like, okay, I need to be looking at this guy so I can be like him. Mm-hmm. And so when you switch to the Old Testament, you're like, well, hold on.
Well, it kind of
I can't apply the same logic here.
Right.
Back around to your original point, like in your discovery, you're reading through the Bible. This is why it's important that Christians know how to read the Bible.
Yes.
You don't read Genesis the same way you read Ephesians.
That's right.
You don't read the Gospels the same way you read Psalms.
Yeah.
You have to do a little research, understand what genre of story it is, what the purpose of it is.
Thriller.
It's just like when people, which I know you're a big
romantic comedy.
You're a huge Ken Ham fan. Hey, listeners, if you didn't know, Jamie has like a Ken Ham tattoo. It's like Noah's Ark.
Hamming it up.
When he went to the Noah's Ark experience,
I got rainbows.
Yeah, he got like this rainbow. He came back. He was telling redeeming the rainbow. He did a whole sermon series on it. Like Kim Ham and Answers in Genesis, like those
With
guys
Jamie
think
Nunnally.
the point of the book of Genesis is to prove that Noah's Ark existed.
Right.
And like, I'm not here to say that it didn't. Like, I think it did, but that's not what it's trying to tell you. And so you're trying to take a book of the Bible and make it do something it wasn't intended to do.
Yeah.
Just like
it wasn't a commentary on the social structure of family.
this is how you do family. First,
Right.
step one, find your cousin.
only in Mississippi.
Yeah. Ooh.
The other thing to know about growing up with Jamie Nunnally as your father is that because we were charismatic. We're a charismatic bunch.
Yeah, sure.
Our whole family was full of the Holy
Shamala
Spirit. Shamala hamala. Should have bought a Honda.
Should have bought a Kia.
Yeah. Anyways.
Ford. Ford.
Ford. You got an interesting prayer language there, brother. Is that like it was hilarious, like having to explain to your friends the stuff that goes on, like supernaturally. Like growing up, there's two things, two stories I just think you remember. Like Dad would just like his car broke down once. And like he just went over there and prayed for it, and it started up, and he drove to the shop. And I remember seeing that.
I remember that.
And I was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "That's how do I?" And like I would say these things to my friends, even in the church, and they'd be like, "What?"
Now look, hey, listener, do not call me if your car breaks down. This is not a superpower.
Pray for your own car, loser.
It was genuinely like super crazy stuff. Once this was in college. I came home. I had been watching a show I knew I shouldn't have been watching. It was Game of Thrones.
Straight to hell.
Do you remember this, Dad?
Yes, I do.
Anyways, I had been feeling icky. It was like ravaging my like personal spiritual life. Like I knew I shouldn't be watching it for whatever reason. I had friends who were Christians who were watching it. I got hooked on it, and it was one of those things where you like don't even think about it and you just do it. But because of that, it was causing me to stumble. Anyways, I came home and I was binge watching this show, and I stayed up till like 3 a.m. watching it on my phone in my room. Yeah. The next morning, I walked downstairs, and this is like over the summer. I'm visiting between semesters, and my dad goes, "Hey, what were you watching last night?" And I was like, "What?"
That's not what you want your dad to say to you.
And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, I had this crazy nightmare, and proceeds to talk through the spiritual journey.
I remember it was like dragons
and dragons, and it's dragons, and
one of
anyways,
them, there was some person named Khaleesi.
and he's like, and then he was like, and then I woke up, and instantly I thought the Lord was telling me, it's something that you were watching. And I was like, oh, I was like, fine, I'll stop. I was like, I was watching Game of Thrones, and you know what? It was the right call, though. Like the Lord can use that to convict me. I never watched another episode after that.
You just convicted like half our listeners.
Last couple seasons. Don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like, listen, everyone has convictions. The Lord tells you to do certain things, but for real, like it was hilarious. He used that. Dad,
he read your mail,
but there was multiple instances of that. Like Dad, I couldn't get away with anything.
Well, what I told Ethan with the Game of Thrones situation, I was like, look, if you want to watch stuff that damages your spirit, that's fine. Like you're an adult.
The way you frame it perfectly.
No, he framed it like that.
This is what I said. I was like, but when you're in my home, like that stuff attacks me.
But for me in my house, we will.
Well, that's why I was having the dreams. He was watching the show.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm the target. I'm the target, and so like, don't bring it in my house.
Don't open no portals, son.
This is pre-Vid Angel times. This is pre-Vid Angel.
I don't think Vid Angel can help that show.
I was about to say, you're watching a black screen at that point.
Yeah. Well, Ethan, it's been a ton of fun having you on the podcast, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was my Make-A-Wish kid.
Yay, you did it.
I got to go back to the Ronald McDonald house.
It was either us or John Cena. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening to
Not the Sermon.
Thanks for listening. This podcast is a production of Victory Fellowship Church in Thomasville, Georgia. Eric and Jamie can be reached at emailing notthesermon@gmail.com.
Father to the fatherless, defender of the little kids, gracious and compassionate. Wasn't, isn't, always been. Father to the fatherless.